Hey everyone, good morning in the USA. Good morning, Sunday from Rima from the United States. I want to fulfill a request of one of my viewers who wants to know more about when their Sade Sati will end. So let's talk just a little bit about what Sade Sati is, and I'll do my best to keep this video short. I want to show you the sunlight that comes into this room. There. Look at the beautiful sunlight. It's so beautiful in the morning there. And that was my little mandir. We're going to go over some charts here. But what is Sade Sati? For those of you who don't know, Sade Sati has to do with the transit, that is the movement of Shani Dev, planet Saturn in the sky, and how it impacts your chart, when it impacts your chart in a specific way. So there are two things we need to know to understand Sade Sati. You need to know what your natal chart is like. When you were born, your birth chart, what we call as Lagna chart or Kundli or horoscope, that you need to know. You need to know where the moon, the Chandra, the moon is in which house and sign in your chart. And then you need to know what are the transits in the sky happening at the moment when you, like today, where is Saturn in the sky and whether it is going over your moon. So some of the basics of astrology you will have to know to understand this video, but I will tell you when your Sade Sati is going to end for those who are running the current Sade Sati period, and who are the people that I have to look out for their Sade Sati just coming up. So we will talk about that. So Sade Sati has to do with two planets mainly, Saturn and Moon. Saturn is a harsh, difficult planet overall. It teaches us good lessons in life and teaches us to be mature and wise, but it does that through harshness, through difficulty. So the pain that we feel in our lives, all the suffering that you felt in your life, a lot of it, not all of it, but a lot of it is related to Saturn. By talking about Saturn, we also refer to a past life karma for which we, get our deeds or results of the deeds. So that is what Saturn signifies in short, if I can tell you in the chart. And that's why when we're running through the difficult period of Saturn, we go through or we experience events that bring us pain, suffering, some kind of lessons and learning or failure. It teaches us to be more practical in life and wisdom and become more mature through the pain and suffering that it brings, or giving back of karmas, giving back to other people even when we don't want to, in ways that we are forced to, because it's like return of your karma. You have to pay your deeds. So that is really the crux of what happens in Sade Sati. Sade Sati can have different impacts on different people depending on your kundli, your specific chart. It can also give you a lot of good things. There's definitely some suffering that comes with it. For some people, it can be just all suffering and just most of it is difficulty. For some people, it can be a mix. For some people, it can be some suffering and difficulty, but a lot of good things as well. So that really just depends on your chart. But nevertheless, Sade Sati is a time when we want to look out for our health, be more humble, slow down in our lives, watch out for some important things. And that's why Sade Sati has been given so much importance in Indian Vedic astrology, Vedic or sidereal astrology. So let me turn the camera and show you this chart to help you understand better what Sade Sati is. This is a North Indian chart that I have drawn. It's just a far chart. Like, it's not a real chart that I know of anybody, but this is what a chart could look like for somebody. This is the first house. The house is just the house. The number doesn't show you the house. This is always the first house. No matter what the number. See, the number is different here, but this is still the first house. And then we go in clockwise order, to tell the house numbers. This is number 1, house number 2, house number 3, house number 1, house number 2, house number 3, and so on. For the purpose of Sade Sati, we do not need to worry about the house. What we need to worry about the sign. The zodiac sign. The number shows you the zodiac sign. So this is the zodiac sign of Aries, because that's where our zodiac sign belt begins. Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. Same thing here. Here the zodiac sign for this person's chart, their Aries sign falls here in the 10th house. So we just keep going in this order. What we need to know is right now, in the sky, right now in the sky, the planet Saturn, written in red, is in the sign of Capricorn. That's what you need to know. All the planets that are written in black color, in black ink, are the planets that were in the natal chart of this person, whoever this person might be. In their horoscope, here's where the planets are situated when they were born. This is their permanent chart. But in red, I'm showing you where the planet is transiting right now in the sky. It's like you have I always like to give this example is, you have your DNA that you were born with, right? Like you have your DNA, but then like you have a body type, but then as you grow, your body changes, right? You grow in height, you start looking different. So you have a genetic DNA that's ingrained, but then also your body changes every day, every year, every month. So same thing is true for astrology. You have a natal chart that is fixed, but then there are planets that are moving in the sky that will bring certain kind of impact onto your life on a day-to-day basis. It's like the weather, like when I open the window, like there's a temperature inside my house, but when I open that window, the weather is going to impact the feeling of me, like the temperature inside my house and how I feel. So right now, Saturn is moving over. It has been in the sign of Capricorn for the last 2 years, since 2022. I don't know the exact date when it started, but I think January 2020, since January 2020. And whoever has moon or Chandra, Cha for Chandra or moon in their natal chart in the sign of Capricorn has been experiencing the main period of Sade Sati. Sade Sati in total goes over 3 periods, 3 phases. The time when Saturn is transiting before your moon, the time when Saturn is going over your moon, and the time when Saturn is transiting after your moon. And in each sign, Saturn transits for about 2.5 years. So 2.5 years. That's why if you multiply that by 3, in total, your Sade Sati lasts for 7 years. That's the total amount of Sade Sati on an average that every person will experience whenever Saturn is going over their moon, before, on the moon, and after the moon. But the main period, the most important period of the Sade Sati is the 2.5 years when Saturn is transiting in the same sign as where your natal moon is. And that is considered as the most difficult time, the time when, if whatever suffering Saturn had to impart on you, whether that's very minimal suffering, major suffering, crucial life-breaking situations, that will happen when Saturn goes over your moon. The reason for that is moon is a very soft planet. It's our emotions, it's our mind, it's our feelings. And then Saturn is exactly opposite of it. It's very apathetic, it's very dry, it's harsh. So when you put something very harsh in front of something that's very soft and tender and gentle, it crushes us. It brings pain, in other words, and suffering. So when will Sade Sati end? My client, or the person who was asking me, when will my Sade Sati end? Somebody told her that it'll end in February. But that's not true. Some astrologer, I don't know who told her that her Sade Sati will end in February. So no, Sade Sati for Capricorn moon. And your Capricorn moon, I'm showing you another chart here. It doesn't always have to be in the same house, right? Look at this person's chart. This person has natal moon and natal Saturn. When they were born, they had moon and Saturn both in the sign of Capricorn. That doesn't mean that they're always running through Sade Sati. No, it means that they are going to have difficulties in their life with emotions and feelings and a lot of suffering likely and pain. But your natal Saturn in the chart does not define your Sade Sati. Your Sade Sati is only defined by the transiting Saturn in the sky right now. Right now, since 2020 January until now, Saturn has been moving slowly through the sign of Capricorn. So as long as the Saturn in the sky currently is still in the same sign as the sign that your moon is in your natal chart, you are running your main period of Sade Sati. So it doesn't matter where your moon is as long as you're looking for the number 10. This is for Capricorn. Anybody who has Capricorn moon, they are running your main period of Sade Sati right now. This Saturn is going to move out. It's going to move out of Capricorn temporarily, just for 3 months, into the sign of Aquarius from April end. I don't know the exact dates. I'm not very good at looking through those exact dates until the time comes. From April end, April, May, June, and I think until July, sometime in July. And then it's going to come back. It's going to bring its motion back into Capricorn. But then, so this is the only temporary relief that Moon Capricorn people are getting in this year, in 2022. From their main Dhaya period of Sade Sati. It's called Dhaya. It's the main period of your Sade Sati, Saturn going over your moon. But beyond that, besides this time period, the whole year Saturn is going to still be over your moon in Capricorn. So you are still running your Sade Sati until this Sade Sati is going to end, the Dhaya period. The Dhaya, the main period, is going to end for Capricorn moon. If you are a Capricorn moon, you will have to know your chart. You can ask me or any astrologer, and if you don't know how to read your chart. It will end, I think it is January 23rd, if I remember, 2023, or January 20th, around the end of 2023, January 2023. So in other words, I'll just say by Jan end of 2023, this Saturn will then leave the sign of Capricorn. It will not come back to Capricorn for another 27 years. So because Saturn is such a slow-moving planet, it takes 2.5 years to transit over every sign. So you experience your Sade Sati after about 27, 28 years. You experience that. So you might, if you go back 28 to 30 years ago in your life, you might have experienced similar kind of suffering, some kind of major suffering. Maybe not the same, but something difficult happened. Same thing happened now, because after 28 to 27 years, Saturn came back. Between 27 to 30 years, it came back. It made its whole motion, it came back. Now it's going to leave this permanently, this sign permanently in January end of 2023. And what that'll do is then, because Saturn will then be in Aquarius, whoever has moon in the sign of Aquarius, I know people who have moon in the sign of Aquarius. I know friends and family. So if you have moon in the sign of Aquarius, then your Sade Sati, the main period of your Sade Sati is starting. It's the starting period of the main Dhaya of your Sade Sati. However, if you remember, I mentioned that your Sade Sati, the 7 years, it starts from when Saturn is transiting before the sign of your moon. The main period is when it goes over your moon. And then the descending period is when the Saturn is in the sign after your moon. So which means for Capricorn ascendant, you are still going to run your Sade Sati until 2025, around approximately, I would say July or August. I need to look at the dates, approximately. You are still running your Sade Sati, but the impact is going to become lesser because Saturn is going to move into the next sign from your moon. That it's called Uttarti Sade Sati. So this is Charti Sade Sati. This is Dhaya, when it's over your moon. And then when it moves away from your moon in the next house from there, it's called the Uttarti Sade Sati. So it's like the time when your debt is rising, then you are in deep debt, and then your debt is reducing. And once it completely moves away from this house, that's when your Sade Sati is done. It's over. So I hope that this helps you understand. It's a little complicated if you don't know anything about astrology. If you know a little bit, then, and there's a lot of things to know and do. There's some very important things to do during your Sade Sati. People that I talk to as friends and family regularly, I give them guidance. If I know their charts, I tell them, watch out for these things, don't do these things, do these things. So it's important, you know. I wish I knew it. When I had my Sade Sati, I went through the worst phase of my life. The worst. When I had my Sade Sati, my daughter was born when my Sade Sati had just started. I became pregnant when my Sade Sati had just started, and I had the most difficult delivery. I had very, very difficult circumstances after her delivery. I went into very deep depression for a few years until my Sade Sati went away, like for 7 years. It was very difficult. And then sometimes what happens is, so my daughter's Sade Sati begins after my ends. So sometimes, you know, depending on your family members, if your Sade Sati is ending, somebody else is starting. That's how, like, we go through these phases of life, right? Like there will be sometimes you feel like your difficulties are just not ending, they're just changing. or intensity is changing, but you still have some difficulty ongoing for several years of your life. The reason is because your family members may be having Sade Sati and you feel the impact because they are being impacted. But that's all. Like, I'm not going to talk about solutions today. I just wanted to explain what Sade Sati is and how to tell if it ends, when it starts. For those of you who are in Aquarius moon, your Sade Sati, your main period is starting now. This year, between April and July, you're going to get a preview of your Sade Sati because Saturn is going to temporarily be in the sign of Aquarius from April end to July of 2022. So for those in Aquarius moon, you're going to get that snippet. But then Saturn will go back into Capricorn, and from 2023, end of January, your actual Dhaya period for Aquarius moon Sade Sati will begin until mid of 2025. And generally, you know, people who have moon in the sign of Saturn, because these are Saturn's signs. If you have moon in the natal chart in the sign of Capricorn and Aquarius, in general, that gives you a lot of difficulty with emotions, emotional suffering related to not feeling nurtured, not feeling like you have support, or feeling like your emotions are very blocked because you suffered a lot. So in general, these are difficult positions for the moon. So it is important that you talk to an astrologer, a seasoned astrologer, to find out what remedies, how to navigate through the Sade Sati period, because you know, when your moon is already in a difficult position and then Saturn is in the sky, is transiting over it, it just adds to that intensity, pain and suffering in some ways. So yeah, that's about it. I know many of you, friends and family, you hear so much from me about your charts and your astrology that I hope that you understood this video. This is just two different kind of charts that I wanted to explain, that how, you know, you can still tell what your Sade Sati period is like. So anybody who has moon in Aquarius, here in this chart or here in this chart, like wherever you have moon in the sign of, wherever you have Aquarius, if you have moon in your chart over there, you are beginning your main period of Sade Sati soon. Okay? This is Rima Desai from the Guiding Star. Thank you for watching. Have a beautiful Sunday, everybody. This is a video that I promised I will make. I want to make so many videos, but just the time. I'm so busy, like with business, constant sessions with people, working full time, doing a lot of projects at work as well, and health, spending time with my daughter. So it's difficult. Thank you. Bye.